why is only the author's note only by itself making me kind of emotional? I made some progress on binding 13. And when I mean progress, I mean a lot of progress. Hi besties, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. We're doing something very fun in today's video. I'm so excited about this video. I've been putting this video off as well as the books we're going to read in this video, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to read the books I've been putting off, been avoiding, been scared to read, and we're going to read them today. Not all of them today, but we're going to start reading them today in this video. I've got 3 books in the lineup. We've got kind of 2 weeks to complete these, but there are some big books as well. I have 2 books that I really want to read, and the 1 book is an extra one. You know what I mean? So yeah. So the goal of this video is kind of really to finally read these books, because I want to read them, but I'm also just kind of scared to read them because of how everyone praises these books and how I have very high expectations because of those praises for these books. So yeah, but we're going to start with the first book in this video, and that is, we're going to start with a banger as well. We're going to start with this book. You've seen it in my videos before. You've seen it in my TBRs. You've seen it in just me talking about books in general. The first thing why I'm also scared of this book is because it's more out of my comfort zone. It's a genre I don't normally read. It's more of a historical fiction. And I did start it once, and then I stopped the episode because I just wasn't feeling like it. I started on my e-reader, and now I have the physical copy. And you've seen me talk about this copy because I just love it. And it's none other than The Nightingale by Kirsten Hannah. Yes. Is this beautiful edition? You've seen it already, but I'm just going to show it again because it's so stunning. So we have this edition. I got this one in Leeds. It is also a signed edition, but look at this. So stunning. It's the 10th anniversary edition of this book. I'm also going to take off this cover because I can't for the love of me read a hardcover with this jacket on. Let me know in the comments if you can do it, but I always take this jacket on, especially because I also want to keep this one in good condition because it gets so easily damaged. So the book in general just looks like this, very clean, but the inside as well is so stunning. And then here we have our signed copy. So crazy. It's really crazy. So yeah, I'm very excited as well to start reading this, but I'm also kind of scared. So if you don't know what this book is, it's historical fiction, as I said, so I'm just going to read it back. The thing is, I know by now what the story is about because I've read the synopsis of this book quite a lot of times, so I know it. But so I'm not going into this blindly, you know? I'm going quite blindly, but not completely, because yeah, you know what I mean. Okay, so this story is about what it was like to be a woman during the Second World War, when women's stories were all often too forgotten or overlooked. Vienne and Maurice and Isabel Rossignol are sisters, separated by years and experience, by ideals and passion and circumstance. Each must embark on her own dangerous path towards survival, love, and freedom in war-torn France in this heartbreakingly beautiful novel that celebrates the resilience of the human spirit and the endurance of women. It is a novel for everyone, a novel for a lifetime. I don't know if the synopsis on Goodreads is more, because I do think it is. I'm going to look it up. The Nightingale. Yes, it's a little bit longer. So you know what? I'm going to read this one. In love, we find out who we want to be. In war, we find out who we are. Friends, in 1939, in the quiet village of Scariveau, Vienne Maurice says goodbye to her husband Antoine as he heads for the front. She doesn't believe that the Nazis will invade France. But invade they do, in droves of marching soldiers, in caravans of trucks and tanks, in places where it will that fill the skies and drop bombs upon the innocents. When a German captain requisitioned Vivian's home, she and her daughter must live with the enemy or lose everything. Without food or money or hope, as danger escalates all around them, she is forced to make one impossible choice after another to keep her family alive. Vivian's sister Isabel is a rebellious 18-year-old searching for a purpose with all the reckless passion of youth. While thousands of Parisians march into the unknown terrors of war, she meets Gatia, a partisan who believes the French can fight the Nazis from within France, and she falls in love as only the young can, completely. But when he betrays her, Isabel joins the resistance and never looks back, risking her lifetime, and again to save others. With courage, grace, and powerful insight, best-selling author Kristen Hanna captures the epic panorama of World War II and illuminates an intimate part of history seldom seen, the Women's War. This sounds so good, and the average rating on Goodreads is 4.65, which is so high for an average rating on Goodreads. There are 13 people I am friends with overall that have read this book, and all of them have rated it like 4 stars. So that's so insane, and that's also the main reason I'm so scared to read this book. But I'm going to do it in this video. I'm going to start this journey because it's long overdue. I'm so excited to start it. I can't wait. I read a book by her before and I loved her writing style. So yeah, I can't wait to start this, and I can't wait to start this with you. So without further ado, let's get started with book number 1, The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. Why is only the author's note only by itself making me kind of emotional? That's so crazy. Kristen Hanna with words is so insane to me. I noticed it when I was reading Firefly Lane by her, and yeah, oh my god, I just can't wait to dive back into this because I don't remember anything when I first started reading this. So let's get started with chapter 1. April 9, 1995, the Oregon coast. Hi wonderful besties. I haven't updated you guys yet, but I did start reading The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I want to do a little update for you guys. So I'm currently at page 84, chapter 9. So far, I'm really liking it. I love Kristen Hanna's writing style. I've said that before. I read Firefly Lane by her and I really enjoyed her writing style. So we are following these sisters and they just got reunited and the war is happening. Germany invaded France, and yeah, it's really intense reading about it, but I'm enjoying it. So I'm going to do some more reading today, and yeah, hopefully we've got still quite a few pages to go through but it will be fine, I'm sure of that. but I'm really liking it, and I can't wait to see how Kristen Hanna is going to break my heart again. So yeah, I would say without further ado, let's get back to reading. Hi besties, it is a little bit later. The last time I talked to you guys, it was yesterday, I think. And I have a little reading update on The Nightingale. I am currently almost halfway through the book. I wanted to read yesterday until like the 50% mark, but I just was too tired. So I was like, girl, go to sleep. But I'm at page 200, chapter 19, and a little recap on the book so far. So I'm really loving it. It's really fun. Yeah, fun. Fun is not the right word for this book. It is very deep and also emotional in a way. I haven't cried yet, but I do think that will happen. But I'm really liking it. The characters, it's just so interesting to read about it because we switch between like the kind of the POVs between the two sisters, and I really like that. I think it's very fun to see more how they are feeling and how they're experiencing everything. It's it's a difficult story because we're still in the Second World War. Everything is what's happening is just so, it is intense. I mean, Germany invaded France, and reading all that back is just like, I was calling my boyfriend. He said it's not even that long ago that all of that happened, which is so crazy to me. So yeah, I'm not sure what else this book has got for me, but I'm so scared. But I'm also very excited. And reading this really makes me realize that I don't need to read romances all the time because I'm having such a great time while reading this book. And I think doing this video, I mean, the next book definitely is not really out of my comfort zone in that way, but this book really is. I don't read a lot of historical fiction. This is like the first, I think, really historical fiction I'm reading. Normally I read mostly romance. Sometimes I add in a little fantasy, romanticy. But yeah, I'm really loving it, and I'm very glad I'm finally reading this book. And it's going really well, and it's also very fast paced because that's what I was kind of scared about, which was the pacing, and maybe because it's not really my genre and there's no romance subplot at all really in this book, that I would get kind of bored. It's more of like a character and like a whole other plot that's happening. But I'm really loving it. And also with the show, I just got a package. This is not the book I'm going to reading in this video as well, but I got this on Vinted for like a very good. If you follow me on TikTok or on Instagram, you've already seen this, but I wanted to show it again because I'm so happy I got it. So I posted a few books on my Vinted, as you saw in my last video, in previous video, and you can, because you sell them. Sold a few of them, and it's still on my account on Vinted. So I got €5 in my account, and then I was like adding books to my favorite list. And then this girl messaged me like, hey, do you want it? And she like dropped the price a little bit. So I only had to pay €4 for this. And it's a hardcover. And this book is also on my 2026 TBR. And I'm so glad that I did it because now I finally have Catabasis. I don't know how to pronounce it actually, by Eric Kwong. I still have to read continue the Poppy War because I read the Poppy War, but I haven't continued reading that. But hopefully soon because I'm just so scared of that. So yeah, but now that was a reading update for now. I'll update you when I'm a little bit further into the book. I don't know how much I'm going to read today, But yeah, that was it, and I'll see you when I'll see you. Hi wonderful besties, I wanted to give you guys another update on The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I have about a little bit less than 100 pages left. I am currently at page 342, chapter 31. The first years were threats. Yeah, the first years happened, they were there, and I did not expect to see that coming. It was intense. It was really intense. Yeah, this is equally beautiful as a tragic story at the same time. It's so beautifully written. What Kristen Hanna did with this book so far is so crazy to me. Like, the Second World War is a very delicate topic, I think, to write about, and there was a lot of tragedy happening when the Second World War was happening, and it's not easy, I think, to write about that and still make it into somehow a beautiful story in a way, if you know what I mean. It's I don't Yeah, I don't know how to say to really say it, but and the quotes in here are also so beautiful. They're not just quotes, but also just writing is so beautiful. Like on the first page at chapter 1, it says, "If I have learned anything in this long life of mine, it is this: in love we find out who we want to be, in war we find out who we are. Today's young people want to know everything about everyone. They think talking about a problem will solve it. I come from a quieter generation. We understand the value of forgetting, the lure of reinvention." Here is another one, on page 57. "For the first time, her romantic novels made sense. She realized that the landscape of a woman's soul could change as quickly as a world at war." I swear, I don't know what Kristen Hanna does with this, but it's so crazy. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish the book. That was a reading update. It's just so beautiful, and I'm so scared to see what else is going to happen. And yeah, we'll see how many tears there will be at the end. I'm kind of nervous, but yeah, we'll see. I'll see you guys when I finish the book, and I'll speak to you guys about my thoughts and all. But now let's get back to the book and finish this. guys. Besties, I have an update, and as you know, I finished The Nightingale. Or should I say, The Nightingale finished me, because what the hell was that ending? I was sobbing like my life depended on it. It was insane, guys. It was really insane. I can say one thing, two words: heartbreaking and beautiful at the same time. If you haven't read this book, read this book, please. It was so beautiful. The writing, the story. I looked some things up after I finished it, and it's so incredible because it really is about women and their strength in the Second World War. It says here, it is a novel for everyone, a novel for a lifetime, and I couldn't agree more with that. I think I definitely, after finishing this book, I mean, I read Firefly Lane, but this is a whole different book than this. But reading this one really made me curious for other books by Kristen Hanna, and makes me want to try more books similar like this one, because even though I've cried so much, you didn't see any of it because I was just crying on my own. No, I was just so in the moment reading the ending of this book, and it was so beautiful. And yeah, I don't know, I don't have a lot of words for this. I think it's so good, and you just have to read it if you haven't read it. And if you're maybe more intimidated by the fact this is a historical fiction and you don't read, that's not really your typical genre you go for, read it, pick it up, and you'll be very glad you decided to finally. I'm so glad that I finally read it, and I'm so mad at myself that I didn't read this book earlier. So yeah, I think it's very easy to know what my rating of this book is. It's definitely a 5-star. I loved this book so much. I loved the characters in this book. I loved Vienne and Isabel. It's, yeah, truly amazing. So yeah, that means book 1 of this video is finished. The next book I'm going to be reading, it's a book that I'm also kind of scared for, and I'm also pretty intimidated by, and kind of been putting off in also a way that I didn't want to read it. But two of my friends, Mar and Anissa, this one's for you. Both of you have been asking me to read this book since both of you read it. Time has finally come. The next book that I'm going to be reading in this video is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. I'm so scared, guys. You have no idea, because I mean, The Nightingale was pretty emotional, but I just know from seeing people read Binding 13, it's also a very emotional read. So I don't know what's going to happen, but this is kind of an equally as in reading books I've been avoiding, but also reading books that make me cry. Because yeah, this book is probably going to make me cry. That's the next read. I'm scared but also excited to see what this book is about and why everyone loves the series. So yeah, I would say I'm going to start it right now, because yeah, I've got quite a deadline, guys, and I also want to read. So I would say without further ado, let's get to reading. Hi besties, it is a little bit later in the vlog. The last time I spoke to you guys it was Saturday and it's now Monday. And I'm sorry if it's raining again. It's been a long time. I don't know, I think it just stopped raining, but it's raining again after a long time here in Belgium. But I made some progress on Binding 13. And when I mean progress, I mean a lot of progress. So on Saturday, I think I only read like one chapter, I think. And yesterday I read quite a bit. I'm currently 47% in the book, which is kind of crazy. So that means I literally read basically the whole book, the first half of the book yesterday. And this is a thick book. I mean, on my Kobo it says it's 622 pages. I wanted to get to the halfway mark, but I didn't. But I'm currently at page 293, chapter 31. So, Binding 13. I don't think I've said what the book is about, so I'm going to read the synopsis on Goodreads for you guys because the thing is, I think a lot of people already know what this book is about, but I'm going to tell you guys anyways. For those little few maybe that have not read it yet or don't know anything about it, because I didn't know a lot about it either. So, they are from opposite sides of the track, but when their two worlds collide, nothing will ever be the same again. Johnny Kavanagh has everything going for him. On the rugby pitch, he's a force to be reckoned with. Primed for stardom, he's heading straight for the top. Nothing can possibly get in his way, right? Not even the shy new girl at Thomas College. The one with the sad eyes and hidden bruises. The one that distracts him like no one ever has. Life has never been easy for Shannon Lynch. Bullied and tortured, she arrives at Thomas College midway through school year praying for a fresh start and desperate to shake off the demons that plague her. On her very first day at the prestigious private school, she comes into contact with the notorious Johnny Kavanagh. Thrown through a hoop over her feelings for him and desperate to keep a low profile, Shannon finds herself once again the target of bullies as she forms a fragile alliance with the rugby's rising star. Falling into a complicated friendship and grappling with their undeniable chemistry, Johnny and Shannon could never have foreseen the obstacles that will threaten their blossoming relationship. So yeah. So there are currently 7 books, I think. Yes, no, there are 6 books currently in the series. So yeah, in this book it's dual POV between Shannon and Johnny, and it takes place in Ireland, which I think is fun because it's a little bit different from most of the books like take place in the years or something. So it's fun to see a book that's a little bit different and takes place in another part of the world. So yeah, so far for the reading update, I am enjoying it. The only thing that in the beginning bothered me because I'm trying to ignore it, as my friends had told me, that he like in the first 44 pages he said I think like 5 times how small she was. I mean, he still does that sometimes. And I'm like, no, do not just ignore it. But I'm liking the story and it is intense and I'm see why people may find the series a little bit triggering for them. So do check trigger warnings if you're maybe a more sensitive person. But I mean, we just getting like the tip of everything. I think there's a whole lot more we don't know already. But I'm do liking it. It's very fast paced, and I am very invested in the story. I mean, I don't think I would be that invested and read so much yesterday. So, so yeah, I'm interested to see where it's going to go. I don't know if it's a 5-star yet because a lot of my friends I know is a 5-star, but I'm not getting just quite that yet. Maybe it will come, but I don't know. Maybe it will be 5-star at the end of like the book, but so far I'm not getting that 5-star feeling. But we're going to see, guys. We're going to see. So yeah, I'm now going to continue reading. But so yeah, without further ado, let's get back to reading. Hi book besties, it has been a while since I last updated you guys. The last time I talked to you guys, I was still reading Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh, and I think I did give like a little synopsis of the book and what the book was about. And I was already almost halfway through the book, I think. I'm not sure anymore, but yeah, I finished the book. I finished his book on Monday. It's today Wednesday. I started reading this book on Saturday, but actually really started reading this book on Sunday, because on Saturday I only read one chapter, I think, or maybe two, and then on Saturday I read a whole bunch more, over maybe the 50% mark, I don't know, and then on Monday I finished the book. I didn't give a lot of updates anymore because I was so into the story, and yeah, so for that I'm so sorry guys that I didn't give a lot of updates on this book. But that concludes this video of me finishing Binding 13. So we're going to do a little recap of this video and end the vlog here. So yeah. So first up in the video we read The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This book I've been avoiding because it's an historical fiction. It is a little more out of my comfort zone. It is a book that is highly praised and a lot of people love this book. And that's why I was so scared of reading this book. But it did not disappoint at all. You saw me talking about it already and how I felt about it. You already know I give it 5 stars, and say even a 6 stars. I'm still thinking about the characters in this book. It was so beautifully, it was so beautifully written, and it made me realize that I don't need to be afraid of historical fiction, and I just have to go for it, because this book was so interesting to read about. The characters, the setting. It is painful to read. I mean, we're in the Second World War and a lot of terrible things are happening to a lot of people, and that's devastating to read about. But it is also, Kristen Hanna did such a beautiful job. I already said this to you guys. She did such a beautiful job in telling this heartbreaking story in such a beautiful way and showing that what the women did in the Second World War was also something that should be praised for. And yeah, I'm so glad that I finally read this, and after reading this one, I'm definitely going to be reading more books that are maybe a little bit more out of my comfort zone. Like, I mean, I have quite a lot of books on my TBR that are kind of more like this, more out of my comfort zone. Like, I have 2 books of Maggie O'Farrell. Those are not books I would grab very easily or like, oh, I'm going to read that. But maybe after reading this book, I am. So yeah, I'm very glad I finally decided to pick up The Nightingale. And if you're struggling with a book because it's out of your comfort zone, just pick it up. And maybe it will be the best thing you've ever done. So yeah. And then after that, I finally read Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. And the reason I've been avoiding this book is mainly because the genre is not so much out of my comfort zone. It's like more of a romance, and I love romance. I mostly read romance books. But it's more because it's a very thick book. It's also a very loved series, especially because of that. I mean, a lot of people on the internet, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, also some of my friends really love this book and love this series and these characters, and that's what scared me the most and why I've been avoiding it so much, because what if it doesn't meet my expectations? Because I've had that with books before, that I have so high expectations because of people really loving it and I didn't. For example, yesterday a lot of people loved that book and gave it 5 stars. And I just didn't see the hype. I mean, it's a good story and it's interesting, the plot, but it just wasn't my favorite book. So that's why I was a little bit more scared to reading Binding 13. But I flew through that book. A friend of mine last year during exam period, I was hesitant to picking it up and I didn't. And all she said, Luna, don't pick this book up during exams. It's not a good idea. And I understand why she told me no. Because once you're into the story, you just don't want to stop reading, and that's just what I had. And that's also why I don't have a lot of footage of me reading this book, because I was so invested and I was so interested in the story and seeing how everything is going to unfold. So yeah, but a little bit more about how I felt about it. So I really love the book, and even though that I'm beginning, I think I already told you guys that he was saying that she's so small. That was kind of bothering me, but I put it away and I was like, you know, just ignore it. You know, it's not that big of a deal. And I think it's such an interesting, and it is, I think Chloe Walsh wrote the story and she did a very good job at it, because there are some things that our FMC is going through that are really hard to imagine people are going through in their lives. And also, like, the found family in this book, oh my god, I love it. I think that's one of my favorite aspects of this whole book. The found family, friends she has, but also the other people in her life. I just really love that. And also the romance, I mean, and I also love the side characters. There are other books in this series as well, and I'm really excited to read more about all of these other characters. Like, for example, Gypsy. I'm really excited about his story, but I think it's a really beautiful story, and I get why people don't say it's maybe young adult, because the topics that Chloe Walsh handles in this book are very loaded. They are very intense, and they are difficult to read about, difficult to write about, I think, as well. But I think she did a really great job with that and handled it very good, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know, but I think she did a very great job. And it really shows reality. You never know what's going on in someone else's life. That's really what I got from the book, kind of. And it's difficult to talk about it sometimes if you're going through difficult things in your life. So yeah, I don't know yet what I'm going to read this book, because I did read this book very fast and I was very interested and invested in the story. But I don't know, it was really the 5-star feeling yet. Like, with the Nightingale, I was like, this is a 5-star book. I'm 100%. But with Binding 13, I'm just not that quite sure yet. So, for now, as of today, it can change. Maybe in my wrap-up of this month, I will be saying it's a 5-star. But for now, at this moment, on the 19th of August, I'm going with a 4.75 stars. Because I just don't know quite yet if it's really the 5-star feeling. But that are the 2 books that I read. If you want to take away one thing from this video, just read the book. Just read the book. You've been avoiding it, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to like it. Because I ended up with 2 very great books, and it reminded me that I don't have to be scared and I don't have to avoid books. And maybe I will be reading more books on my TBR that have been forever on my TBR. So yeah, maybe I can do this as this concept as like a little series on here, because there are a lot of other books on my TBR that I've been avoiding. As I just said, like the Maggie O'Farrell books, I have 2 by her and I haven't read either of them. So yeah, so maybe we can do that and we can do this together. So yeah, that was for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and let me know if you've read any of these books and what your thoughts are on these books, and if there's a book you've been avoiding and why you've been avoiding that book. So yeah, I hope you guys liked it, and I would say see you next time. Bye!